welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
And I'm Ben.
Today we're going to discuss Thor versus Thanos.
Whoa.
That's what this story is called.
That's not what happens?
Oh, it happens.
Oh, okay.
It happens.
I seem to remember discussing this very briefly, and me wondering how one person could take on Thanos when, like, the entire Marvel Universe...
Yeah, to be fair...
That's because he had the Infinity Gauntlet.
He had the Infinity Gauntlet during that time.
That's
but
true.
Thanos is also infinitely powerful, even without the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, he's a Titan.
Yeah, which
So
means...
he's less infinitely
that just means he's from the moon of Titan.
Oh. That
Yeah,
sounds
that's
less
mean-
cool when you say
yeah.
it like that.
He and his people are from
There's
Saturn's
a race
moon.
of people from the moon of Titan.
Yes.
Shouldn't the Earth people encounter them all the time, since that's in their own solar system?
It's just in the solar
It's so
system.
far away,
It's still
though.
really far away. You know how many years it takes to get to Mars?
We've barely gotten to Mars.
Yeah, but they're always dealing with aliens from, like, all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, other stars.
Yeah,
come here.
And some of them are from our own solar system. It's messed up.
That is messed up.
This is written by Dan Jurgens of the Death of Superman fame, and is a slew of artists. The most notable of them is John Romita Jr., but don't worry, he doesn't draw most of this book. The rest of them were done by Michael Ryan, Jerry Ordway, and Jose Lendron.
I know none of those names.
No! I know Jerry Ordway, who also drew some Superman books.
Was he good?
Yes.
Okay.
Jerry Ordway is good. Also, the inkers are Dick Giordano and Klaus Janson, who are amazing.
Klaus Janson, we've heard.
Yes, he did Dark Knight Returns and a number of other books. He's done many, many books. But Dick Giordano rocks, as does Klaus Janson. It's hilarious, and they're wasted on this book.
So you think the art is not that great?
It's not. Not a material. This is from 1998. It covers just a number of Thor books.
Okay.
And
How many Thor books were they making in 1998?
At that point, it starts off with issue number 18.
Okay.
So they were on their 18th book.
Okay, but it's just one Thor title. It's not like...
Well,
multiple...
alright. So when Thor first shows up, he shows up in, like, one of the ancillary Marvel titles, like Tales to Astonish or Tales of Mystery or whatever.
Right.
But then, when Thor got his own book, it was called, like, Thor or The Mighty Thor.
Right.
And by 1998, there had been several Thors, enough to form a Thor Corps. So,
There was one.
Yes. Of which it comprised of Thor and Beta Ray Bill and Thunderstrike.
Was it an exercise book? Did they work out their Thor core?
I mean, I guess they would, because they all had sick abs. So this is a weird, forgotten period in Thor's history.
Okay.
Because it was from the 90s. And, just look through this.
Okay.
So, alright.
Oh my god, he's got a huge... Oh no, I thought it was a gun. It's his hammer.
Yeah, his hammer fires energy.
I thought it fired lightning.
It does that too. No, it conjures lightning. It fires.
Oh, it fires a blue bubble thing.
Yeah, it's like antimatter energy or whatever.
Oh, is it always
It's
done that?
Uru energy.
Yeah, more or less. I
Yeah.
mean,
Has lightning?
it summons lightning, but it fires energy.
Oh yeah, this art is not great. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's John Romita Jr.
Okay.
So,
I guess I'm, like, holding it up to, like, the standards of, like, modern comics.
which is, by the way,
Super
this
detailed.
is around the time when, they had been stepping away from the Image era and were coming into the modern era, where, you were getting really, really interesting, diverse art styles.
Yeah.
Was
It's
this
very
also
different.
after when Marvel bought that publisher for the printing?
Yeah. Yes, it's after that, but they just closed that company and then left. But Romita Jr. had been drawing for Marvel since the 80s.
Oh, wait, go back a page. Who the hell are those guys on the bottom?
Oh my god. Enra and I want to say they're the, like... You know, like, Thor's the Warriors 3? These are, like, the Mischievous 3 or the Evil 3 or whatever. It's these three...
Are they from, like, Norse mythology?
No, they're
okay.
from a Thor comic. They're from Thor's, like, first appearance.
Okay.
And then in this.
So they had heads with very specific helmets
No,
on them?
they're just regular. They look like people, but they have crazy Jack Kirby designed helmets on them.
Those helmets reminded me of these weird, like, spin toys. They were like tops that you, like, put in a little thing that spun and wound up, and you would make them fight each other by spinning.
Yeah, those were Thor toys.
Yeah, they were not Thor toys.
They were not, but, like, that's
cool.
what those remind me of.
Yeah, they
I
look
don't know
like...
what the hell
you
they're
mean
called.
they look like a bunch of fucking nonsense for children?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they are. And Enracked of these three jackasses had been in a previous story in Thor where, okay, so first he was invented, like, in the beginning of Thor. Like, he was just another one of those dumb characters they created for Thor to fight.
Right.
And then later they resurrected him, or brought him out of retirement in, like, the 90s.
Because we'll make him super cool this time!
Yeah, but they never accomplished that. They just made him a villain for Thor to fight. So he had... Oh, my God. He had, like... Okay, so originally you thought what he did was he possessed Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and then used it to screw over Thor.
Okay.
But then later, it turns out that his business was much more nefarious.
Naturally.
So, and you'll find out more about that later. Okay, it doesn't matter. So,
he possessed his hammer?
Yeah.
So the hammer's like, ooh, I'm gonna get you.
More like it betrays Thor, like it doesn't listen to his commands.
Like he swings it, and it, like, swings back.
And, like, hits him in the face, and it says, why are you hitting yourself? But... It's during this period where, like, Thor talked like a Shakespearean jackass, so it's like, why art thou hitting thyself?
Thwacking yourself.
He didn't always talk like that?
I mean, he did always talk like that, and then after a period in time, they were like, this is hard and dumb. And they just knocked it off.
And do his villains also talk that way?
Yes. All Asgardians talk like that. So everyone from Asgard
get used to it.
Talks like
you're at a Renaissance fair.
Yes, and especially a Renaissance fair, because at a Renaissance fair, it's not like they're educated and know how to, like, write like Shakespeare. These are just people who think they're writing like Shakespeare.
Because there are these and thous.
Yeah, they just think if you replace you and your with thee and thine, that's enough. Also, they speak in, like, kind of poetic...
Yeah.
Not poetic in a
not actual poetry.
No.
Just floral language in a way.
Yeah, it's just flowery language, and they use terms they might have heard or think they've heard, like "by my troth," and "have at thee."
Right.
Someone's next to Odin. They're like, "By your beard."
Yes, by the bristly beard of you. And Odin does play a very small role in this. So
this reminds me of Galactus. This form.
Yeah, well, it's because Galactus helped design. I'm sorry, Jack Kirby designed Galactus. Yeah. So Jack Kirby created all these guys. They all look like that. Fucking the New Gods look like that. The Eternals look like that. Galactus looks like that. Everything that Jack Kirby created have a very similar aesthetic theme.
Jack Kirby saw Conan the Barbarian, and he's like, oh, those guys in the beginning with the helmets, with the snakes and all that, when they kill the village, that's what I want to draw.
I mean, what's funny? Conan the Barbarian came out like 30 years after Jack Kirby had already started drawing that shit.
Oh. So whoever made Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, and in fact, you've seen Argo. Jack Kirby is the artist that they had hired in the actual Argo story to design the fake movie they were making in Argo.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So, Enracht had split himself in twain, and one part of him possessed Thor's hammer and was involved in a stupid story before this, and the other part possessed the corpse of a mystical, like, space babe that Thor had kind of fallen in love with and then died. And then he possessed her dead body and then resurrected her, but he was still secretly himself. So she's gone. She's still dead.
Right.
But...
he's pretending to be her.
Oh, he's catfishing her.
No, but like it's more like Enracht had seemingly died, but he split himself in half, and one part of his energy went into Mjolnir, and the other half went into her body, and then put on Enracht's armor, so Thor was none the wiser.
Oh, so he thought he's fighting just regular
Enracht,
he's really fighting half of Enracht in his girlfriend's dead body.
Yes,
in Enracht's armor.
Precisely. And later,
what a mess!
What the fuck?
But don't worry, because Thor's memories had been kind of like wiped clean of that girl in the first place.
Oh,
but
so it had no impact on him whatsoever.
Well, it did later because Thor wants to find Enracht, so he takes Mjolnir to Scarlet Witch, and he's like, oh yeah, because in the Thor book he's like, oh right, I forgot. I'm an Avenger. So he went to Avengers Mansion. He's like, Scarlet Witch, will you use your magic powers to, like, look at Mjolnir and see if you can find Enracht's energy signature, and maybe I could follow it to where he is?
Okay.
And it works. And and in doing so, it also unlocks his memories of this dead chick.
Oh.
Who, by the way, plays no role in the story except for the fact that there was this chick who Thor had an adventure with and then died. And Thor seemed to have a crush on her, and then Enracht became her.
Well, it's just so he can be, like, more upset?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that when he's in Asgard and Enracht takes off his mask and reveals that he's in the body of this chick he used to, like, be interested in.
Yeah.
He could say, like, offhand that he loved her, and then Lady Sif could be like, what?
Ooh, drama.
Yeah. Drama, 2 panels worth of drama. Juicy. So then...
Okay, so this is before this book, or
This is all
book?
during this book.
This is during this book.
Yeah.
And who are the 3?
Those are the 3. Those are the villains that Thor is fighting in the beginning of the story.
What? And they don't have anything
Enrak
to do
is
with
one of the
Enrak?
3.
Oh, he's one of
Yeah,
them.
he's that guy.
Oh,
that's Enra.
Are they friends with him?
Yeah, they're all like brothers or some shit.
Okay, but he's the only one who split himself in 2.
Yes.
And
split
possessed Mjolnir.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
They didn't do that.
Okay.
No, he just got them. He just called them up.
So
After
he's like the main
bad guy.
Bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Enrak is.
And they're his lackeys.
Well, they're also of like equal power.
Right.
Because they all possess
It's like
this...
Thor and his friends. Like,
yeah, the Warriors 3.
Yeah.
Like, they're all pretty powerful. Like, Volstagg is still pretty jacked.
Yeah, but
there's no book about him.
No. And if there ever usually is, it gets canceled very shortly thereafter. So, Thor talks to Scarlet Witch. She creates the energy signature. She's like, okay, I art going now. And she's like, wait a minute. You're not going anywhere without me. And then he's like, oh, no, I am. And then she jumps into his portal, and then they both go. So then...
Why is she... Are they like friends? Well,
yeah, because they're teammates. Yeah. And she's just like, whoa. It would be like if, if I were going to go on a merry adventure to fight somebody, and I went to your guys' place, right. And I was like, hey, guys, I need, like, a hammer. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because I needed to, like, fight some mystical bad guys. And you guys were like, are you going to, like... do you need some help? And I'd be like, no, I could never ask you to help me. Right. And then, like you would be like, okay. But Ben would be like, yeah, let's go. Well, that sounds like a lot of hassle.
That you know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. No!
Yeah.
No, we must be there for our brother in arms!
Exactly!
All right, Scarlet Witch.
So she gets to be in the story.
Oh, I'm Scarlet Witch in this.
Yeah.
So there could be an attractive girl wearing almost no clothes in the story.
And a character that doesn't talk like a goddamn idiot.
All right.
That's helpful, yeah.
Yeah. So she could say things like, I can't believe what's happening!
And her colors, like, go well with this bright yellow guy. Who's
this?
Yeah.
This is... That's Odin.
That's Odin?
Yeah, Enracked and his...
He has both of his eyes?
Yeah. In this one, he does. Because, like, Thor's all powerful, or Odin's all powerful,
So Thor's here, he's saying, for Odin, and Odin's, like, right there, right next to him.
Well, that's just the thing that he says. This is proof that they're just grabbing things Thor says, and it makes no difference, no bearing on, like, whether or not it matters.
Right.
Because he says, like, for Odin, for Asgard, he says that shit all the time. Whether... And look, when they're defending Earth itself. Like, for Odin, fuck Odin. How about for, like, the Bronx, where you are right now?
Fuck you!
Like, no, that's my catchphrase.
That's what I say,
Even
though.
Even if Odin was right here, I would say it, but not to him.
No, like, when they're defeating, like, subterranean, like, dwellers that are destroying all of Manhattan, he's like, for Asgard! Like, Asgard has no bearing on what's happening right now, Thor. That's really inappropriate. It would be like if you're fighting somebody to defend your girlfriend, and then you say your ex... For Julie, your ex-girlfriend's name. Like, wait, whoa,
what? Is like, what?
And it's like, well, I used to say that a lot. It just became a thing.
It's not about her. It's just a thing that I say. It's like my catchphrase.
Well, could you come up with a new one?
No, it's, if you have a problem with this, that's
on you.
It's got nothing to do with me.
Why are you being self-centered about this?
Yeah, listen.
This is for Julie.
While that's happening, there's also this really boring subplot about Thor's alter ego. Now, Thor had been Donald Blake, physician, in, like, throughout everything.
Right, he transforms into Thor, right?
But, yeah, exactly. But for a very, very short period of time, he was also Jake Olsen. And Jake Olsen was a real guy who existed. And he was a drug dealer and, like, a thief. And he gets killed.
How the hell does that guy get to be, like, worthy to be Thor?
He's not. But, like, Thor needed an alter ego at that time. So he just became Jake Olsen. He was like, well, I'll just take the form of Jake Olsen when I want to be a regular guy.
He's dead.
He's dead, so I'll just do that.
He's a random dead guy.
Yes. So then Thor, as a, like, regular person, starts, like, bombing around as Jake Olsen, right? He's just like, I'm Jake Olsen.
He changes, like, his facial structure to match?
Well, what Thor does is what he used to do was, when he was Donald Blake, he used to have, like, a walking stick, and he would hit the stick against the ground, and the stick would form into Mjolnir, and his whole outfit would change. Like, his whole physical form would change. He basically swapped
places. His face would change?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although the face would be very similar.
Ah.
Yeah, but in this one, I think that what happens is he just punches the ground, and then it does the same effect.
Okay.
Because it's weird, a dude walking around with, like, the equivalent of a shillelagh in, like, Midtown Manhattan.
Okay, so when Thor is Jake Olsen, is he still acting like Jake Olsen? Like
yes.
being a
he
slum?
talks. No, he doesn't. He's not like, I gotta get into character. No, he immediately just goes full Donald Blake mode, where he's like, I'm a good guy, and I was actually, he like knows all the same things that Donald Blake knew. So he's also like a physician.
Why can't he be Donald Blake anymore?
I don't know, and I don't care. It's a weird point in Thor's life.
Confuses me.
It's very weird. Well, because he's a little bit like Shazam, where it's like, do you switch places?
Yeah.
Is there really a Donald Blake?
Right.
Like, where does he go? And the fact is, like, no, there isn't really, like, there aren't two different people.
Right, it's not like Donald Blake was, like, born.
Right.
Well, I mean...
Well, he was.
He was.
But as it turns out, he was also secretly Thor. Like, he didn't know he was Thor, and then when he finds Mjolnir, like, he awakens.
So it's like... It's like... Thor's like reincarnated or whatever into, or like there's always a guy who like channels Thor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Although then it kind of like bucks with the whole prophecy of the hammer, where it's like, whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, like anyone can pick it up. But there's also like a guy who's genetically predisposed to being Thor, so like you're kind of at a disadvantage if you think you're worthy enough to pick up Mjolnir.
Right.
But
it's almost like that's how you know who is Thor.
That's
the guy,
and that's really what it is. After Ragnarok, when like all of Asgard was destroyed and everyone died, Thor's hammer fell to Earth and just landed somewhere and was just like, and no one could pick it up. It was just sitting there. And actually, they co-opted it for the end of one of the Marvel movies, and then the Thor movie, where it's like, there it is, and no one can pick it up. But like this dude who had like a jacket, like they were really trying to bury the lead, like, oh, is it Donald Blake? And then he had like a jacket with like the name Blake on it. He picks up Mjolnir and leaves, and it's like, oh, Thor's back. And that harbinges the J.M. Straczynski run of Thor, which is also really good, and we might do it on back issues.
So really, the inscription on the hammer should say, "If you can pick this up, your name is Thor."
Yes.
Your father is
Thor
Odin.
is your alter
You live
ego.
at this address.
Yeah, and no one else can have it. So Jake Olsen's having a problem because Jake Olsen was also originally like engaged to this woman, and so when Thor became Jake Olsen, like he inherited like this relationship.
Okay.
And he's like, right on, she's hot, I'm down. So, but he was also
Thor
like,
needs to get laid.
yeah, and he's a nice guy, so she was like, wow, Jake, you're a lot nicer than you were before. Like, this is great.
Oh.
So, like, it works out for everybody, even though I'm also secretly someone else, and you're in a relationship.
You don't actually even know me.
I was not as nice before? Oh, I should probably do... What was I doing before?
Yeah. No, Thor is not in any way interested in playing the character.
Playing the role of the guy that he's inhabiting.
But it does matter because his past is catching up with him, so, like, there's this cop that's like always looking for Jake Olsen, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna catch him one day, and then he gets like attacked by these monsters in the beginning of the story, and so Thor as Jake Olsen uses his Donald Blake memories to be a physician on the scene and rescue the cop that wants to kill him.
Dear God.
So Thor basically Jake Olsen rescues or saves the life of the guy who wants to like arrest him. And so
you understand, I'm a hard grit cop. I can't let this go.
And he is, and they were like, dude, he rescued you. He's really nice to me. Like, let it go. And
he's a scum, I tell you.
He says, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt if he gives himself up. Like, if he shows up at my office and he gives himself up to the authorities, then he'll...
Right, if he puts all his trust in me.
Yes,
so I'm willing to
put my trust
I'm willing to not arrest him if he lets me arrest him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that's happening. Oh, and also... he was dating Jane Foster back when he was Donald Blake, but now that he's Jake Olsen, he's not. But he also, like, runs into her and tells her everything. So he's like, hey, listen, I'm Jake Olsen, but I'm also Donald Blake and Thor. So, like, what's up? And so he and Jane Foster have, like a platonic ex relationship.
Okay.
You know, where you become friends with your ex?
Yeah.
And so she kind of, like, suddenly this random, very attractive, like, doctor woman shows up in... seemingly this random person's life, and she helps facilitate Jake Olsen's lies and, inconvenient subterfuges he needs to unveil whenever he leaves to become Thor.
Right.
So, his fiance is going to be like, where's Jake? And Jane Foster's like, oh, well, Jake told me he had to go do a thing. Like,
but... he stopped dating Jane Foster when he became Jake Olsen?
Before that.
Okay.
No, his relationship had run its course, and then... Yeah.
Okay, thank God. It's not just like, I was just dating him a second ago.
Well,
yeah, but I'm not Donald Blake anymore.
Exactly, that's why I'm sleeping with another person. It's not because we're, like, I don't want to be with you anymore.
And this isn't cheating.
Right. If I'm ever Donald Blake again, then we can get back together.
So...
I mean, we are together. I'm just not Donald Blake.
Is he... So are these stories happening at the same time?
Yes.
How is that?
Well, because Jake Olsen did the thing. Okay, so the cop that's chasing him and his fiance and all these other people were being attacked by monsters from a previous story, and then Thor shows up and rescues them, and then when he's like, okay, the danger's over, he switches back to Jake Olsen, and then notices that like one of the dude who chased him was attacked and hurt seriously, so then he facilitates his rescue.
And we're just seeing, for no reason, the aftermath of his...
Oh, not for no reason. It's because you're reading Thor regularly, and this is part of the ongoing drama of Thor.
And that when Thor goes back to being on Earth, you have to deal with all the things that have transpired.
That's
while
right.
He's gone. Okay.
So
I'm with it now.
Right. So the cop is in a hospital because he had been like his throat was slashed by one of the monsters.
Okay.
So it was a serious injury. So he's in the hospital, and everybody's like, "You got to give Jake Olsen the benefit of the doubt." So he's like, "Okay, I might." And then Jake Olsen shows up and tries to smother him to death with a pillow, and you're like, "What?
Wait, Thor, Jake Olsen?
No,
someone else.
Someone else.
Is it Loki?
Well, yes. It's not Loki.
Can impersonate
well, all right, that's a complicated question, but I'll get into it now. So Loki discovers that Thor became Jake Olsen.
Okay.
Right, and he's like, okay, how do I mess this up? So then he calls Mephisto. And he's like, Mephisto, what up? And Mephisto's like, what do you want, Loki? And he's like, I want one of the souls you have in your kingdom. And Mephisto's like, right on, okay. They have a little bit of a dick measuring contest, but who cares?
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. So, because Mephisto plays no other role in this except to reference Mephisto.
Right.
Oh, so that's Mephisto.
Yeah, it's one interpretation of Mephisto. Mephisto had looked like one thing for, like, ever, and then randomly in the 90s people were like, but he's like Marvel's the devil.
Shouldn't he
not
look
the
cooler?
devil. Well, he could look like anything. So like I could try anything. So like the first time that Loki conjures Mephisto, he looks like a bug, and then later you'll see him again. He looks like more Mephisto, but still with like a bug monster face, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And it's just because people want to draw Mephisto like anything they want. They want to draw cool shit.
Right.
Well, I'll become the definitive Mephisto artist.
Yeah, and then no, nobody cares about what you think of what Mephisto looks like. So basically, Loki goes into hell and he finds the soul of the real Jake Olsen, and then he brings it back to Earth and brings it back to life. And he's like, I will let you live and keep being yourself again because Jake Olsen died.
Right.
And Thor just looks like Jake Olsen.
Assume the
using
magic.
magic.
Yeah. The body is still Jake Olsen.
Yeah. Well, the dead body that's in the ground somewhere.
Yeah.
So then Loki, I guess, makes a new body or whatever.
Or he goes and finds it and puts the soul in it.
We don't see him go to like a grave and get it.
But Jake Olsen becomes Jake Olsen.
Yeah, there's a real Jake Olsen and now there's Thor phony Jake Olsen.
Right.
And
so when
Jake...
Thor throws back up, they'll be like,
what's happening?
You're over there.
Yeah. And this Jake Olsen is indebted to Loki, so now he's like committing all the crimes that he used to commit, but more aggressively and randomly.
Yep.
And to make Thor look bad and get him into trouble.
Right. Well, can't Thor just become another dead guy?
I mean, yeah, but he's already...
he's pretty happy to be this
guy.
He's
already...
I got this thing going with this girl.
Yeah, he's already got this relationship going on. Like, it's a real hassle. I was already Donald Blake. That was obviously a fucking problem. So now I gotta be Jake Olsen. How many times am I gonna do this?
Why does he even do this at all? Why
That's
does
a great
he just
question.
live in Asgard?
Right? And later they're like, yeah, why don't you just do that? And then they just drop the whole pretense of a fucking secret identity. But like, for a while he had one, so they're like, well, I guess this is part of like Thor's character.
This is what Thor has to do. He wants to live on Earth.
Yeah.
Every superhero has to have a secret identity.
Yeah. And so I guess the idea is like it grounds Thor, and maybe Thor doesn't want to be Thor 24/7. It's like Superman. Like, why are you're always Superman. Why pretend to be a person and deal with like the bullshit from Steve Lombard and Lois when you could just go be Superman all the time?
That's because Superman's planet was destroyed. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
That's true. Also, he was raised by real people and has an identity.
Right.
Thor was Thor. Yes.
Period.
Well, and Thor was Donald Blake until he reawakened. So it's like, well, I already got used to being like part of me was always a Midgardian, so I might as well like keep that up.
All right. So cut back to the fact where he and Scarlet Witch go through this portal.
Oh, so they go to the portal, they fight these three assholes, they defeat them ultimately, and
including Enract.
Enract, yes. Enract, one of the three. Okay, so I think Enract summons a big, great beast that swallows Odin and Scarlet Witch and Thor, and they break themselves out and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, they go and they fight these guys, and they bring them back to Asgard, and then Thor's like, fuck you, Enract, you're done. I'm gonna kill you now. And then everyone's like, whoa, Thor, don't do it, because they all figured out like that Enract is in the body of this chick that he liked.
Okay.
And so Thor's like, I'll stay my hand for just 1 second before I'll look into your eyes before you die. Takes out the mask. Like, oh no, you're the person that is so unimportant that the name, like, I don't even know your name. So, but he's like, oh, I loved you at some point. And then Sif's like, what?
Because she has an unrequited thing for Thor?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Well,
Is he just like he doesn't know? Or,
yeah, right? No,
he doesn't care?
It's more like that. Because, like, I don't think anyone could not know that Sif loves Thor.
Okay.
Well, she's a warrior and he's a warrior.
And they kind of grew up
It's like
together.
the Conan and Red Sonja love.
They actually have something in common.
As opposed to anyone that Thor
Especially
dates.
Jane Foster.
Yeah.
So...
You suck, Jane.
She's Thor now, so whatever. I think that Odin just kills the three of them. Or the other two guys. He banishes or kills them.
He banishes them to
hell.
limbo of infinity.
Yeah. It's like hell or whatever.
Some dimension, yeah.
Oh, and suddenly she's wearing lipstick. And wrecked.
Oh, yeah, well, because he was... Oh, yeah, because you could see the lower half of his face throughout the entire thing, and then it turns out, like, oh, no, he's actually...
Pull off helmet, lipstick appears.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so Enract... I should point out this other moment where Enract is like, I inhabited the spirit of Mjolnir, so I could totally use it. Come, Mjolnir! And Thor's like, oh, what? And so he, like, summons Mjolnir, and then he's like, okay, strike, use your crazy, amazing energy to blast at Thor, or to blast at my enemy. And then Thor is like, yes, Mjolnir, listen to your master! And then it just fires backwards and shoots Enract, because after Scarlet Witch used her magic to follow the energy trail, she also removed the enchantment that Enract had on Mjolnir in the first place. And so Thor...
Did she mention that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not when it happened. No, after they sprung the trap.
She explained.
In classic Holmes-esque fashion.
Right.
It's after the cool moment has passed.
Well, how is he able to call Mjolnir to him then?
He doesn't. Thor lets Mjolnir go to him.
Oh, because Thor knows.
Yes, Thor's aware that he's going to
So
try
it's all
that
a
trick. Yes, it's all a ruse.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little moment. So then they...
Unless it's, go to him. All right, I'll use this to fly away. Whew. Oh, shit. Oh, that's not
No,
what
he
meant to
can't
happen.
fly with it if he doesn't have it. If he's not in it, he can't
That's
do
right,
anything.
that's
with
right.
it.
It's a joke, Ethan.
So
That doesn't work because it wouldn't happen.
well, it's a bad joke because it wasn't deeply rooted in fact. So they remove the spirit of Enract, and then they take the body of this poor woman and they preserve it and keep it in the trophy room.
What?
Oh.
Yeah,
No.
That is gross and weird.
it's a place of honor. Oh, also she has to wear the armor of the dude that defiled her. So, yay!
They can't change her?
Nah.
Well, then we'd have to take her clothes off.
And that would be grosser.
Uncomfortable.
How dare we? Thor's
Or
maybe it's just...
maybe it's just a rad outfit. I
Yeah,
don't know.
she looks kind of badass, actually.
Way cooler than the image of her from your mind.
Here's the problem. We want to put the armor in the trophy room, but...
It's in this girl.
It's already on the body, so we'll
Yeah.
just stick the whole thing in.
Yeah, listen, in dire need, we'll take it off of her. But right now, it's a pretty fucking
It's
trophy.
Odin's choice. He's like, yes, put her in the trophy room. I'm
Yes.
going to look at her later. With both of my eyes, which I still don't like.
While that's happening, Heimdall, the All-Seer for Asgard, is attacked by an unseen foe. It's Thanos, because the book's called Thor versus Thanos.
Right,
So-
right.
I forgot the entire time that Thanos
Hey,
was going to show up.
Thanos is in this book, you
Thanos.
guys! But actually, he's not attacked by Thanos necessarily, but he's
It's
attacked
Thanos'
by
fault.
Mangog, who is actually a monster. Another Jack
Okay.
Kirby creation,
Oh.
who I believe is in Monsters Unleashed right now. But Mangog is just a bad guy monster thing. He's really powerful.
Have we
he
seen
has,
him before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like in the 60s. He has his strength is a billion people. He has the strength of a billion people.
Wow, that's pretty strong.
It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Billion?
A billion.
So a billion squared.
Yes.
That's many, 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 many times as many people exist
Precisely.
on Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the point is that Thor can't pierce its hide.
Ah. Well, how
Well,
many
you can't
billions of people strong is Thor?
I don't know. Probably
hard to-
not even a billion.
It's not a very useful unit of measure.
No,
It's kind
but
of
he's a
confusing.
holdover from the 60s, so that's the expression.
It's also impossible to pierce anything with a hammer. Not impossible, but very hard. You're using a blunt instrument.
Yeah, you would
Fair
Maybe
enough.
something with a point.
Well, he
or a
also
blade.
blasts things. It doesn't anyway. So the reason that happens is because Thanos is on a quest to possess a ridiculously circuitous amount of mystical items that, when used in proper sequence, will give him absolute power.
Right.
The first thing they want is like an ancient chalice from the trophy room, which they get, and then they need a map, which will... Okay, so they got the chalice, which is the thing they desperately need. Then they need a map that will lead them to a crystal that will lead them to
oh my god,
a person who needs to cry
into the chalice,
and then he who possesses or who consumes the tears of this special person will have dominion over death itself.
Okay.
And it's not like I'll be able to have control over the cosmic deity Death, for whom Thanos has a romantic interest.
Right.
It's more like I'll have superpowers, like even more superpowers than I ever had before. Because he doesn't say like
what the hell?
He doesn't like master Death or kill half the population of the universe or anything. Because
Right.
obviously he's going to use this and he gets his fucking powers. But like he can kill anyone or something like that. He's super powerful. Loki is still like, no, my emissary.
Is he planning this? What is?
Oh no,
No,
Loki
he's
is
just-
only interested in using Jake Olsen to make Thor's life hard.
All right.
So then, Odin finds out about this, and he's like, "What? That's not okay. Thor like did all this cool shit and like stopped these 3 guys, and he lost a girl that he totally wanted to bang.
And you're screwing around with his alter ego.
Yeah, and you're dicking around on Earth. That's not cool." So then, Thor runs into Jake Olsen, and he's like, "Yo, man, like what the hell?"
Yeah.
And
you're supposed to be dead.
Yeah, and
I'll fix that.
Yeah. Loki possesses Jake Olsen because Jake Olsen gets knocked unconscious during a liquor store robbery gone wrong when Jake Olsen shows up to stop it.
Okay.
So there are 2 Jake Olsens fighting each other.
Yes.
Okay.
And the security camera's going, which proves that Jake Olsen, who tried to suffocate the cop that's chasing Jake Olsen, is not the Jake Olsen that is like turning his life around.
All right.
You can't prove that. It just proves that there are 2 Jake Olsens.
Well, it just
Yes.
proves that it didn't have to be him.
That's right. And it does. So Loki gets into Jake Olsen's body, and then Odin shows up and is like, "Knock it off, Loki! You're being a dick!"
So what, he goes into his body so he can punch Thor really hard? Or...
No, he goes in his body because Jake Olsen is knocked unconscious. He's like, "If you're in jail, you're not going to be able to get into mischief for
I'm going
me."
to get you out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And apparently I can't get you out of jail even though I'm Loki.
Yeah.
You-
So then Odin traps Loki in the body of Jake Olsen
Oh. As punishment for...
and takes away his powers. So now Loki is Jake Olsen's twin brother. Because that's the story they concoct to absolve Jake Olsen of all of his crimes.
That's just a soap opera with superheroes.
All the crimes that Jake Olsen perpetrated from the time when he was born to the time that Thor took over his body was perpetrated
That's
by a
pretty
twin.
handy. They did Thor a solid,
Yes, they
actually, because
did.
now he doesn't have to answer for any of the previous...
That's right.
Yeah, but Loki could just say, he could just lie. He could just fuck around and be
Yeah.
like, no, it wasn't me.
No, but like they hire Matt Murdock to prove that there's a legal precedent for Jake Olsen's twin brother, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. So
Like, well, this guy was robbing a liquor store. He's probably the one who was responsible for all those crimes before.
yes,
All of them. That's
Yep.
actually what would happen.
yeah. And then Jake Olsen's soul is like stuck with Odin, and he's like, well, "What about me?" And Odin's like,
I don't give a fuck.
You're supposed to be dead anyway.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I giveth not a fuck.
"Yes, I give nary a fuck." Odin literally just goes like, sorry," and then he just like lets his soul go into the heavens.
I was gonna say, I could send you back to Mephisto,
Yeah,
I
and he's
guess.
like, "I'm not gonna do that. I'll just let you go because like you had a hard enough time,
Right.
All
You were
right,
in hell,
Yeah,
you didn't
being-
ask for any
being
of
an
this.
asshole.
Yeah, that's the thing is that
And
Jake
having
Olsen
a
was
life
still
of
a dick.
crime.
I guess like the fact that he was in hell in the first place is like punishment enough. Like you were
Right.
there, you were punished enough.
I'm not gonna send you back. That's too messed up.
That's messed up. Yeah, your soul was removed from hell. So then, for the time being, Loki, as Jake Olsen's twin brother, is locked in jail,
all right.
and he's away. Jose Ladrone depicts the Recorder, who's this robot man whose society was destroyed by Mangog and Thanos.
Oh, this art is super cool.
It's really cool. It's just a flashback that shows like his machine, his sentient robot. It's Cybertron, but like they're little guys.
Yeah, except they're people.
Yeah, they're machine men, and so we see their society and their world and everything, and it just gets completely wrecked. This random crystal that these machine people are for no reason like housing
In possession of.
Yeah.
will determine like the location or the identity of the Designate, and
Which is set by what?
the cosmic forces.
Oh, okay.
And so they wreck everything, and then Thor, who is like chasing after them, like comes too late, and everything's wrecked except for the Recorder, who is like the last living emissary from his planet.
Jeez.
And he's like chronicling his people, and he winds up joining Thor's band to go like stop them.
So Thanos wrecks the entire planet.
Yeah.
To get this one thing.
Yes.
Everybody.
And that's what Thanos would do.
Yeah.
Arguably, like Thanos, if he's like, I can't get the gauntlet, I can't get the cosmic cube, I guess I'll get these random, stupid, made-up things that when put in proper sequence... Oh, yeah, and he does that shit all the time. So,
well, they don't have any superheroes on that planet. So.
Nope, and I
so
guess
they are
only...
easy to destroy,
yeah,
I guess.
and only one of Earth's superheroes giveth a fuck, so that's the end of it. Yep. So then we cut to the end of the story where Thanos has the chalice and the Designate, and Thor is beaten, and he's trying to get the Designate to cry so that she'll cry into the chalice, and then he'll be able to drink her tears, and we're like, what?
Wait, how do we get here?
Who is this? Who's the Designate? Why is it this silver chick? Like, what's happening? And then Mangog beats Thor to death. What? And that makes her cry.
Oh. Because she apparently cares for Thor?
Yeah. And we get no context
do we see that happen?
We see it later. Like, it's a fucking... It's a vision that Odin is seeing.
Mangog, make her cry, alright? Time to put on the Fox and the Hound.
Yeah. They were friends! Why can't they be friends? So... she cries, he gets the chalice, and Thor's dead, and then Odin's like, whoo! Good thing that didn't happen.
That's what would happen.
But what if this did? So then...
cheap.
So then Odin is talking to... Oracle, but it's spelled with a K, because it's his name.
What is happening here? None of this looks like anything.
We're back at the Machine Planet. This is what John Romita Jr. makes things
totally different style.
Yeah, the square-jawed, like really square-jawed thing.
So
it's very stylized.
It's very, yes. Yeah. So Thor and Mangog fight, and then Thor and Thanos fight.
But they don't have the chick yet.
They don't have the Designate yet.
So this is before the vision.
Yes. Yes.
So they're not going to die here.
No.
We know that.
We do know that. Yeah. So then Thanos...
Thor loses, right?
No, he seemingly defeats Thanos by, like, unloading on Thanos with, like, all this energy from Mjolnir. And then...
Like, wasn't that... He can always just do that?
Yeah, couldn't he always do that? But, like, he's...
Yeah, he tries a little harder this time.
This is how it's written. So... He gets the Illumination Stone, and then Mangog, like, climbs out of the rubble from which he came.
Uh-oh.
And then he tries to eat Thor.
Oh.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then while Mangog and Thor fight, Thanos just picks up the Illumination Stone and leaves.
She's like,
Yep. And then Mangog leaves with him. Like,
he's like, oh, he's got the thing.
I was gonna eat you, but never mind. Put down.
So then Odin, having seen the vision, sends one of his people to this like random forest in Asgard, and then he meets Jagerfelm or Jaggerfelm.
Oh, it's Jagerfelm.
Jagerfelm.
Jagerfelm. You know, you do shots of Jagerfelm.
Yeah, and Jagerfelm is this guy who was invented here, and Jagerfelm is like a master forger. He can make like all these crazy amazing things, but he's also like gross and like a bad guy, I guess, or whatever.
Phlegm.
Yeah.
Look at him. Ugh.
Yeah, that is gross.
He's gross. And but like the fact is that Odin wants to commission him to make sweet, awesome armor that Thor will use to defeat Thanos.
So he's like the best at making stuff, but he's an antagonist.
Yes.
So Odin has to like. It's hard. You can't just go to a guy and make the best
we can't
stuff.
just ask his dude to do it.
Right.
Like Iron Man did in Fear Itself.
I'm sorry.
He has to...
Who made Mjolnir?
Oh, that dude.
Yeah. Odin's dude, right?
Yeah.
Not Jagerfelm.
So this shit's even better than Mjolnir.
Yes!
Oh!
And I'm guessing we never fucking see it again.
No. So Odin's like, Jagerfelm, you gotta make me this shit. And he's like, Jagerfelm will make you this thing if you want, but like, it's gonna cost you. And he's like, okay,
I'm
what?
sorry, is Jagerfelm the Boglin?
And he's basically, look at the little monster guy, and he sucks. So, Jagerfelm's like, you have to let me have dominion over what I have in this sack. And Odin's like, let it be done! And then he's like,
wait,
that important? It's in
what's
a
in
sack.
it? Yeah. It was you, Odin.
Yeah.
What?
It's a picture of you, and that's basically you. So
it might as well have been that.
yeah, no, well, I'm not letting you have dominion over me. story, so just forget it.
So never mind.
You have dominion over that photo.
Odin feels like he's so like worried about his son that he does it without.
Whatever.
The reveal is it's the Cask of Ancient Winters, which has control over like the fucking frost giants and shit.
Oh.
And then, by the way, later,
is that to set up another story?
Yeah, but okay. Malekith wants it, so he just kills Yargulfhelm and then just takes it. Literally, he's like, "But I've got mastery over it." He's like, "Yeah, but I just killed you." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's that then." And then he just takes it.
How can he kill him if he has mastery over the thing that?
Because the writer who took over that story didn't want to fucking deal with Yargfhelm.
I see.
So then Thanos and Mangog go to this planet of like silver people, and he's like, "We need to know who the Designate is." And the Designate is like, according to the cosmic forces, she is going to be. She's like space Jesus, because like she will help like regular people ascend to a higher plane of existence. Like through her, we will learn the way. Eventually, she will become Thor Girl, a superhero that nobody wants to write about.
Whoa!
But for now, she is just part of this like interchangeable race of regular-looking people who have silver costumes and hair.
And they know who the Designate is, right?
They don't. They don't know either. Like
well,
none of
us.
I mean,
they know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing in their culture.
Yeah.
It's not just like there's one Designate in the universe,
and nobody knows who they are or whatever.
No, that's part of our whole
culture.
Thing.
Yeah, like we know that one of
us.
It's
our Designate.
Yes. Well, it's the Designate for everybody, but yeah.
Right. But they know it's coming from them.
Yes.
Yes, they know that one of them is. They just don't know who.
Right.
So it was literally like if Thor was like, and then I need Jesus of Earth.
Yes.
And people on Earth are like, oh yeah, Jesus.
Right.
We know who that is.
Yeah, we'll go get
That's who you need for this thing halfway across the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, if Jesus were alive and walking around.
Right,
people,
and if that had happened in,
Oh, yes, in First Century Palestine,
before,
yes.
Yeah.
But, so... Thanos and Mangog are like, who's the Designate? They're like, we don't know. And he's like, okay, well, the Designate can't, like...
Well, then I'll kill all of you!
Yep, and then he does, and he finds the Designate and takes her, and then they go. So...
Is it the last one alive? Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, then Thanos... So then, like, Firelord, who was, like, imbued with the power cosmic, he was a Herald of Galactus. He's flying around, and he bumps into Thor. And so...
We got a replacement for Silver Surfer?
He was, yes.
Okay.
So, we got Recorder, we got Firelord, and we've got Thor.
Okay.
And they find that the entire race of these people that the Designate is from all are killed. And they're like,
people.
Yeah, and they're like, ooh!
You're gonna pay for that.
Yep.
And Recorder's like, and my people too, right?
Oh yeah, also them.
Yeah, sure, whatever,
Yeah.
Recorder.
Yeah. Well, Recorder's funny because...
Machines, they're not even people.
Yeah. So Recorder's funny because he's like, he's a machine man. So he's not like sad, but he does like, he learns thanks to Thor, like humanity.
Oh.
Why have you taught me this? Take it back!
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah. I don't want to be sad.
No. So, the traitor, former Vizier of Odin, also teams up with Thanos and Mangog.
Yeah. Oh, we just found this out now?
Oh, he's been there, but like he was so integral to the story. I don't know how I missed him. And
he only matters now.
Yeah. Well, because he's there.
Right.
Because like, who's that guy?
Who's that?
Nobody. So they all like. So then the vision comes to pass.
Yeah.
And
the
Odin,
first part of the vision, right? We don't see Thor get killed.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, he can't. He's gonna have this super sweet armor.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but it's all playing out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
no!
Oh
no! Will it be too late? Like, no. So Thor fights Mangog again. Odin summons Firelord, and he's like, "You're the only one fast enough to like get this armor and bring it to Thor." So then Firelord like bails after he like either kills or fights the Vizier dude.
Okay.
And then he comes back with the armor later. But meanwhile, Thor has to fight Mangog, and Mangog's so fucking powerful and shit.
Right.
And then Thor's like,
super
that's
hard.
right, I can't pierce your hide.
Right.
So then he shoves Mjolnir into his mouth, and he fires all the energy into his organs and kills him.
Oh, shit!
Which is like,
that's awesome.
Arguably the coolest moment of the story. Also, while they're in the fight, like, Recorder dude gets like smashed. So he's like Bishop at the end of Aliens. So he's like still conscious and talking and shit,
like,
but he's also like, bleh.
I can't do anything.
Yeah,
I'm a torso.
He's unhelpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, then Thanos needs the Designate to drink from the to cry into the chalice.
Right. I'm trying to get her to cry.
She does wind up crying
because Thanos killed Mangog in such a horrifying
no,
way.
Thor
She's
killed
like,
Mangog.
Thor did.
Yeah, she's like, whoa,
Oh!
that was just disgusting. No, he does that later. He does that after Thanos
he's
gets
not
what
dead
he
yet.
wants. No.
Yeah.
So
So
then-
what does make her cry?
I think it's just the vision, like everything, like Thor being beaten and shit.
Okay.
But yeah, so she cries, gets the chalice, and he drinks.
She didn't cry when all of her people were slaughtered.
Believe it or not, no. It's kind of weird, actually.
It hadn't sunk in yet. It's too.
Yeah,
it's too much.
It's like she's watching it. She's like, okay, well, this is all playing out without me having to be involved. Holy shit! You know, my entire people are slaughtered. I'm never gonna get laid again. Like, I'm not gonna. There's my whole line
Except
is.
for,
Thor's like,
an
wait!
alien.
Yeah.
I'll take on another personality and we can have a
Oh
relationship.
my god, she does.
I'll be one of your
So,
silver
What?
people.
so then,
God damn it.
so then, Thanos becomes like all powerful, and
What does that mean?
he drinks from the chalice.
I
So he
know,
gets like,
but
the-
what specifically though? What does that mean?
well, he says, "My will is death. I am as death." Like that's like what drinking from the designates, drinking the designates tears from this special chalice give him super fucking powers.
could he use those powers to not kill things?
I mean, probably not.
Okay.
I think
So
it's
it's
the,
just,
it's
I
a
can
perfect
only kill.
Yeah.
I
Well,
am
and
death.
that's all he wants to do.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
but like, even if he didn't want to,
like-
oh, look at this
No,
nice puppy.
is the
Ooh.
power literally death, or does he just? That's how I'm going to use it.
I think
so
that's
what
more
I'm
like how
saying.
it's made up anyway, so that's probably what it is. Because like no one else ever tries this or
Right.
did it before.
or mentions that it's possible. Or,
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
And yet this prophecy exists.
Yeah, well, because they made it up for the story.
Right.
They
So-
don't try to explain like why those celestial beings would
Yeah.
create this thing.
Yeah,
or-
no.
No.
This is the Control-Delete for the universe.
Yeah.
We screwed up. Someone has to follow this key path
Yep.
so that they can kill everything and reset it.
Yeah. I mean, that could be one explanation for it.
Who
That-
knows? Who
yeah.
knows why the gods?
And who am I to
do what they
question
do?
it?
Exactly. So Thanos actually, he's firing a thing.
Yeah.
He unleashes the first lethal wave of obliteration.
Yeah.
Destined to extinguish life as we know it.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
heading
coming,
out.
yeah.
The blast.
Oh, don't worry
of
about that
whatever.
because like Thor literally just punches Thanos hard enough that it just knocks it off.
Oh. Like it unmakes his attack.
I guess
Oh.
because it's not like he has to like go into the wave or whatever. It's
Right.
That's it.
So here's Thor killing Mangog.
Yep, just shoves his hand right in his mouth.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's pretty rough.
You hungry?
That is cool though.
Eat this!
Yeah, he doesn't even say eat this, which I wish he did.
Yeah, damn. Mayhap
Oh,
thou shall be less
He does say
impervious
something like that. He says,
if the blast shall not be
he says
fired.
drink Mangog.
Drink liquid
Fire.
death or something.
Yeah.
Drink deeply of Milnor's fury unleashed. That's kind of awesome.
That's pretty badass. All right, I give it to
All right.
Thor.
And he keeps talking. For 'tis most certain thine internal organs are not so shielded as thine heart.
Jesus,
Aw,
the guy's
no.
like
Quit
while you're
literally
ahead.
dying.
Yeah! Drink
He's-
deeply from
Yeah,
Mjolnir's Fury Unleashed was
Yeah,
enough.
that's
You
enough.
know, people aren't gonna get it.
No,
it's,
yeah.
it's destroying his organs. You see,
We
because
get
they're
it.
vulnerable.
Oh, shut
I
up,
see
Thor!
it. I see it. Jesus, that's what makes the Designate cry. She's like, "Oh my God,
Jesus,
Thor, knock it
Thor.
off!"
He's
And you're-
already dead.
So then Thor fights Thanos, and then he gets the armor, and then he fights Thanos again. They fight.
With the armor, and he wins because he has armor.
Yes.
Right, he couldn't beat him without the armor.
Nope.
Even though he was able to beat freaking Mangog.
Well, because
was
he was
Thanos-
clever. Wasn't because he was able to punch Mangog hard enough.
Right.
He's not gonna be able to try that trick with Thanos.
Thanos' mouth isn't even big enough for Milnor to fit.
It's true.
For one thing.
Yeah.
Well, Thanos, I assume, is like smarter than Mangog. Like Mangog is just big and powerful.
Yes. Mangog is a pawn.
Let's
Plus,
see
Thanos
this
also
shitty
has
armor.
this super power.
You'll see it in a second. It's coming up.
It's coming up. Coming up. So this is when Thor gets defeated before he gets the armor.
Yep.
And then he puts on the armor, and it's just
Just some gloves,
just-
some straps, and a shield.
it's just straps. And
He's wearing a lot of belts.
Yeah, he's
A
wearing
lot of belts over his body.
No
Yeah.
pouches though.
No pouches, it's a shame.
Yeah.
But he has a giant shield now.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
It's super powerful.
It's got spikes on it.
It's
That's actually a
strong
pretty
enough-
awesome shield.
It's strong enough to resist this blast, which
That I guess
could
would obliterate life on Earth or a life in all of the galaxy. Yeah.
But one guy with one shield could stop it.
Yeah. Well, it's made by Yardflem.
Oh, that's right. Yargflem made it. Good old Yargflem.
Yep.
All right, so it's a big fight.
It's a big fight, and then Thor literally just beats Thanos like almost to death. And then the Designate says, like, the person who perverts this whole prophecy in the first place, there's a prophecy about that like if my tears touch him, then like they'll burn. So she cries and then throws her tears onto Thanos, and he's like, rah! And it like burns his.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't I remember that part of the prophecy?
Well, because he wasn't planning on having her cry on his fucking chest or something.
Second he drinks some of her tears, he's just like, and you're dead now.
Yeah.
Now this time she's crying about her people.
Yes.
I wish victory had come sooner.
Yeah.
Death hath visited many. Oh no, that was Thor said that, and then she thinks about, I guess, her people.
Yeah. And then that's it.
And then she cries and just burn. Thanos is already defeated before them, and she's just like burn.
Yes. Which is fair.
That's awesome.
And then Thor's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And what does
Thou art awesome.
Does he gets like fucking vaporized? Like what? Where does he go?
He just like sinks into the ground.
Well, he's not dead though, right? Because we see him again.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, he's just somehow defeated, and somehow that took away his power.
Oh well, that's the thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Also, the tears take away his power.
I'm not gonna say that, but whatever. He was so on the ground. What do you need?
Though it's the best part about the whole thing is that Jim Starlin created Thanos, right? He big pusher for Thanos. Like every definitive Thanos story is written by Jim Starlin.
Okay.
And in fact, he wrote, Infinity Gauntlet, all that shit. And there's this long period in time, like a 5-year span, where Jim Starlin didn't write Thanos. And like Marvel's like, we're going to use him. And in this story, Thanos is like the most like Thanos that he's ever been when he wasn't written by Jim Starlin. Mm-hmm. But Jim Starlin didn't like that anyway. So then, when Jim Starlin got to write Thanos again, he wrote a story in which it is revealed that Thanos had a bunch of clones that all thought they were Thanos and were in those stories he didn't like. And so it didn't matter anyway. Thor versus Thanos is not real because Thanos is a clone.
Well, that at least explains how Thanos can be like burned to a cinder and not exist anymore and still come back.
Yes.
Like, oh no, this one died.
Oh yeah,
this
no,
one's
he
totally
died.
dead. He doesn't like come back to life.
No,
he's fucking dead and gone forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, I actually like that better than like
him being just so strong.
They saw his body like vaporized, but he came back anyway.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that at all.
No.
Clones suck.
Yeah, clones
are like life model decoys.
Yeah, but so do people coming back to life from having not even like pieces of their body left.
Yes, that sucks more.
Also, like, what happened to the power that he had? Oh, well, he's dead, so it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That actually is not bad.
But it's a cheap fake out! Thor versus Thanos isn't even a fucking story about Thor versus Thanos!
But if it was,
it's
like,
crap.
Thor wouldn't win, right?
Yes.
No, clearly he could win.
No,
yeah, if he had
just a clone. This isn't the real Thanos.
That's the thing.
That's just it. It's a clone. It's Thanos.
That's the thing.
No.
It's that people who read this were like, no. And it's like, dude, but he had all this crazy armor. It was made by a fucking goblin. No. I mean, literally, like, I created a goblin. He makes.
He had goblin armor, though. That's
so?
enough to beat Thanos. The guy who wielded the Infinity Gauntlet and wiped out half the life of the universe.
Oh, it had like the power to obliterate all life in the galaxy, imbued within his his veins. Yeah, and Thor just punched him hard enough. The end.
No, Thor didn't punch him hard enough. It was her tears.
Well, no, he punched him first until
he defeated. She like vaporized him.
Yeah, he was unconscious on the ground when she did that.
Yeah,
and then he was helpless before her when she destroyed his body with tears of fire or whatever.
With tears of bullshit.
Yeah. What happens to Thor's magic armor?
He just takes it off eventually, and that's the end of it.
Oh,
that also wear it for the rest of his life.
That goes back in the trophy room.
Yeah, because it looks stupid.
It does look stupid.
It's like diamonds.
Well, it's like
I could never be defeated if I was wearing it, but it looks so dumb.
Yeah. Who made this again? Oh, Yarflaum or whatever.
I'm sorry. Who?
Oh, don't worry. He was killed by Malekith. That doesn't matter.
He's the greatest blacksmith you've ever heard of.
Yes.
Although he lives in Asgard, just like down the road.
Yeah, you can go get him. Thor versus Thanos sucks. I'm going to put a link in the description box below this video where you can go buy it if you so choose. But, damn. If you want a window into why Thor was so hard to sell to people for so long, check out Thor versus Thanos.
This is just a bad story.
Yeah. Well, the problem is it's not written to be self-contained. Mm-hmm. So it's like...
Yeah, it's just an adventure in...
I mean, literally,
life.
At the end of the story, the last moment in the story is the absorbing man's girlfriend is dying in a hospital. And he says, we don't have any insurance. I don't even want to think about what that means. And she says, it means I'm done, honey. It means I'm going to die. Oh, no! What?
What does that have to do
If
with
you are
Thor?
reading this out of context, it's literally, so this random woman who you've never seen before is going to die.
Who is with the Absorbing Man, has nothing to do with Thor.
And you don't even, it doesn't even say the Absorbing Man is
What?
is
I don't
that
know
guy.
who that is.
It literally, the only reason why you might even
Extrapolate
assume
that, yeah.
is because it says in the next issue, the Absorbing Man is you've never seen him before.
Ah.
But if I'm reading this for the first time, like, I've never seen him before anyway,
Yeah.
so I don't
What?
know. But, like, Thor vs. Thanos, if you want to, like, get into Thor, don't start here. If you want to get into Thanos, because, like, you think he looks awesome in those movies, it's not Thanos. It's a goddamn trick.
But that's only retconned later, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, in this story, Dan Jurgen's like, Thor
Thanos
beats
dies.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Kabam.
Thanos is a punk bitch. Thor can kick his ass
If he's wearing
if he's wearing special armor.
plus million armor.
Even if Thanos has ultimate power.
Ultimate power. Yeah.
You know, ultimate power, you can't get higher than ultimate?
Yeah.
Well, you can.
Well,
See,
you can.
He should have just had Thor fight regular Thanos
Yes.
with the special armor.
Yes.
And then it'd be like, okay, that's how Thor
Yeah,
beat
Thor
him.
beat him because he
extra
had
special
fa-
armor.
because
But
he had
no,
cheating armor.
Thanos had to have super extra power too. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, why does he need the whole Marvel universe to beat him? Or Adam Warlock or something?
Yeah.
It never should have been that whatsoever. It should have been the fact that, like, you know, Thor is trying to beat Thanos, and even with that, he can't. And then Thanos drinks from the chalice. He's like, I have ultimate power. I can do this. And then the Designate's like, yes, but if my tears touch you, you burn. And she destroys him.
Yes.
Or at least, like, reduces him back to, like,
Yeah,
regular levels.
Right.
And then maybe Thor can get up and hit him with a hammer.
Yeah,
And
boom! There you
armor.
go. That's
Fine.
the end of that. But this sucks. Check it out. We'll see you guys next time with another episode of Back Issue. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
See you next time.